Joe.
Round it.
Look at him just pressing on the head here, though.
March 7th of 2021 is marked as one of the most controversial days in UFC history. Petr Yan arguably made the costliest of mistakes, one that would send ripples down the spines of every fan. With the illegal knee, the downfall of Petr Yan started, and unfortunately so did the villain arc of Aljamain Sterling. The way Sterling won this bout left a sour taste in everyone's mouth, with some immediately calling him an illegitimate champ. At first, it seemed as if Aljamain Sterling was truly disoriented and was evidently hurt. The Funkmaster was truly upset about the way this fight ended, as it would delegitimize the commencement of his title reign, in a fight he was clearly losing. Fans went to bed that March evening with the belief that Sterling was regretful of the way he won the belt. But when people woke up, they were irate.
It fit you, bro. It fit you, bro.
What I didn't like what you said
you.
was, he was cracking me. I was like,
Nah.
Yan was amongst the people that were upset about the ingenuity of Aljamain Sterling, and Sterling's non-fan-friendly style made it all worse. Sterling was going full heel on the matter, with all the fans flooding his comment section with clown emojis. To make matters worse, Aljamain Sterling would pull out of the rematch, and fans were more frustrated as one of the most entertaining weight classes was under chaos. In order to keep Yan occupied and the bantamweight division in order, the UFC would launch Yan for an interim belt. The entire UFC fanbase considered the Russian man the true champion, and the term paper champ became viral to describe the Jamaican. Despite the illegal move, it seemed as if Yan's fanbase only grew further, and his role on the savior of the bantamweight division grew further. When Yan was set to face Sandhagen, everyone expected him to be crowned the champ by the end of the night. Sandhagen was yet another terrific prospect in that 135 weight class people saw as an exciting fighter. No Mercy displayed a striking masterclass for the Abu Dhabi crowd, and it was a beautiful sight to see.
2 minutes to go, round 2. Sandhagen to the body, Yan goes to work up top. Pinning back fist and a follow-up left.
Yan showed that he was deserving for the belt, whether Sterling held the undisputed title or not. His beautiful striking allowed Yan to be placed and recognized as the best bantamweight of the world once more.
Range consistently now a right from Yan. Sandhagen back to work on the... Vicious ground and pound here from Petr Yan.
Watching prime Petr Yan is bittersweet, considering what we know happened posterior to this fight. Now as the bantamweight interim champion, Yan had the objective of unifying the belt. At the end of 2021, Yan was considered the authentic champion, and Sterling was nothing more than a small inconvenience in the UFC. Petr Yan's masterclass over the top guy Sandhagen showed that his skill and finesse allowed him to be loved by all the fans. The trash talk between Sterling and Yan was reignited for their rematch, and people were thrilled to see Yan starch Sterling.
What is one other thing that we could do with a down opponent in this position? Give him what he deserves. Watch out, man. Yeah! Bro, what the hell is wrong with you?
This was perhaps one of the most anticipated rematches of all time, and understandably so. The expectation of the fight was one of complete Petr Yan domination, but the result was quite the contrary. The development of the fight was completely different than what fans expected. For the majority of 2 rounds, Aljamain Sterling won rounds based on control time, a typically unwelcome sight for MMA fans that wish to see damage at all times. Round 4 and round 5 saw Yan capitalize in the stand-up affair. Therefore, we essentially had 2 clear rounds for each man, with the first round being up in the air. In today's day and age, damage trumps control, and Yan had done more damage and Aljamain had done more control. When the decision would be announced, many expected Yan to have secured it based off damage. The boos and disappointment were evident the moment the controversial decision was announced, and many still refused to give credit to Aljamain. Even UFC President Dana White expressed his clear disappointment on how the bout was ultimately scored.
Yeah, I thought that the judges blew that one. I thought I had it 3-2 the other way. I don't know how you guys scored it, but You know, I guess it's all in however you score that first round.
You could see the disappointment in his face before he wrapped the belt around Sterling. Despite what people wanted to admit, Sterling was a legitimate champion, but not many people saw it, as his reign was categorized by a DQ and then a split decision. On the same night Sterling would make his second defense, Petr Yan would aim to derail the hype of rising promise Sean O'Malley. With both him and Aljamain fighting on the same night, many saw a win over O'Malley as a perfect setup for a rematch in the near future. Despite the previous bad blood, Yan would be cordial to Aljamain in the build-up to their fights. Yan would be tasked with derailing the hype of Sean O'Malley in a fight that he was once more heavily favored to win. Sterling would welcome back former Bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw as he aimed to reclaim the belt that once belonged to him. Dillashaw's previous shoulder injury would lead to him dislocating his shoulder within the first 30 seconds of the fight, essentially making it easy for Aljo.
That could be the beginning of the end.
And it should be. Great job by Aljo. Flag him out and go to work.
That'll do it.
Unfortunately, this defense would bring another X next to it, considering it was a one-armed Dillashaw. To make matters worse, former champ Petr Yan would lose yet another bout by split decision, in a fight a lot of people saw him winning. Despite the entertainment value of the fight being crazy, people were outraged as only 6 months ago, Petr Yan was considered the dominant champion, and now was on a 2-fight losing streak. This would be the second time the fan favorite would lose a controversial decision. All the while, the guy that perhaps was the most hated athlete continued to win in controversial ways. Yan would aim to bounce back by fighting Aljamain's teammate Merab Dvalishvili, the Machine, in a fight many saw him winning, and he was once more a large favorite. Unfortunately for us fans, this fight would be the worst nightmare for Petr Yan fans.
Takedown attempt. Dvalishvili gets it. Oh, that's a big shot.
The Machine would break the record for the most attempted takedowns in a fight, having attempted 49 in total.
The nature of Dvalishvili, being so angry at Petr Yan, he has so much respect for him as a fighter, was saying.
What was awfully frustrating was that the Machine's takedowns were unsuccessful most of the times, and he was winning this fight purely based off pace.
That's incredible to be able to stay on your feet like that.
Yan was being handed his first true loss inside the UFC, and all the while against another guy, people wouldn't applaud much as he wouldn't fight for the title for being friends with him. In his corner, Dvalishvili has Aljamain Sterling, and they've said they'd never fight each other. Yan was left demoralized after this fight, and now people's bantamweight hero was defeated, and Sterling the villain kept getting away. The people would now look at the cringe lord himself, the former double champ, Henry Cejudo, to remove Sterling from title holdings. Cejudo was known as the hated fighter, and having him as the one people were looking at was absolutely crazy. Despite being in his hometown, Sterling would be booed by the majority of the crowd. Once more, Aljamain Sterling would now be involved in yet another close title fight. Overall, the fight was quite dull, with people being split on the scorecards.
Oh, look at this! Scrambling! Cejudo winds up on top.
We once again saw Aljamain's gamification of positions, using the down opponent rules to stall fights.
Sterling shoots.
I mean, and Aljo is just shooting. If I'm Cejudo here, I'm just elbowing the side of the head.
The Funk Master would once more get the shot, and controversy riddled him again, as we then found out someone gave Sterling round 5, the round that clearly went to Cejudo. Even in front of his home crowd, the boos rained on the champion. People now look at Sean O'Malley to remove Sterling from the UFC Golden List, and to restore peace from a champion whose reign has been described by a DQ win, a TKO win over a one-armed man, and 2 controversial split decision wins. Dana White even seems to be fed up with Aljamain's public discourse, claiming he can't get out of his own way.
Aljo's fucking up this whole press conference tonight. No, I don't think so. I don't know what Aljo's doing. Aljo will be in Boston versus O'Malley.
Despite being the champion, people clearly want Sterling gone, and he has said he wishes to move up a weight class, but people don't want him ruining another division either. The faith is now in O'Malley's hand to fix the bantamweight division. As for Yan, we are still confident he can bounce back to the top. As always, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.